So, how is everybody doing? I do see it on Periscope and D Live and Facebook. And come on, YouTube, are you going to connect? Yep. And Twitch should be connecting shortly. I am live on the TalkStream Live as well. You can listen to Jesse Lee Peterson on TalkStream Live. There's an app for that, as well as the JLP Live app. Take your pick for the live audio feed. You don't have to be streaming video necessarily in order to access the show live. It's cool, huh? Same thing with Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. I believe that it streams, I haven't double checked it, but it does stream live. That's nice, right? So, it is Wednesday, November what? November 11th, 2020. It's pretty crazy. Like, Twitter and the mainstream media, including, what is that? Washington Compost, New York Slimes, I think, and many others are just basically just amplifying everything that Democrats say, just brazenly lying to us. It's pretty weird. You probably saw on Project Veritas. I'm going to play a short clip of the guy from Project Veritas debunking the fact that his thing was debunked. He signed an affidavit saying that people were told, and I hear that more are coming out, saying that post office workers were told to backdate ballots. And it's not just this guy in Erie, Pennsylvania. I think there was a woman over in Michigan, right, who also signed an affidavit saying the same thing, and others too. And yet they're saying, oh, that's fake news. Twitter is, trying to fight against misinformation. No, they're trying to fight for the Democrats and against Trump, and they are fake news. They are fake news. It's crazy. I'm going to be talking about that and other shenanigans going on. President Trump is still fighting. We shall see what happens. We don't know. It's funny. I can't even imagine either outcome. I can't imagine Trump beating this because I just can't imagine it. And then I also can't imagine Joe Biden becoming president. So it's just blank right now. We'll see what happens. And that's fine. I guess we're not supposed to try to imagine what the future holds. Just stay right now, call out the lies as they come, and tell the truth as you can. And stick with what's right. I heard that Tucker Carlson said that it's a spiritual battle. It's not a political battle. He's right about that. So you should be attending to the spiritual things. I have callers on the line. I'm going to touch on this crazy attack on Trump supporters that took place Sunday. You probably heard about it. The Epoch Times has many headlines. They seem to be trustworthy. And that's with regard to this election with COVID. They call it the CCP virus, the Chinese Communist Party virus. They seem to be very measured and trustworthy. And they'll put stuff out that people say, but they will say, it's not necessarily confirmed and all that. So that's cool, because there's a temptation wherever side you're on, whether you're for what's right, and especially if you're for what's evil. But if you're for what's right, you can still jump to conclusions or be like, make false accusations. I see it all the time. People make up stuff about Jesse and me and all that stuff. Let's see what else. What other items? Oh my gosh. I'm going to read to you that puff piece about poor Black Lives Matter supporters in California are facing pushback and whispering. Please. And there is some good news for law and order, especially in Florida. The governor drafted laws that would allow people to shoot looters. Got to get this under control at some point. What, you just stand there helplessly while they rob you blind? It's crazy. It is Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. I have a couple of shameless evil females to talk about, including, is it pronounced Eva Longoria? And another shameless woman, the woman who she claims cheated with that pastor, Carl Lentz, who is a Black Lives Matter supporting Justin Bieber type so-called pastor, former of Hillsong NYC. I talked about him and how he supported everything evil. And now he's fired, not for supporting evil, but for cheating on his wife, which you're supposed to continue to sin, right? That's according to them. So what's the big deal? President Trump is honoring the veterans today. Very nice. Happy Veterans Day. That's cool. Lentz doesn't sound... Interesting point. And Lentz does not sound like a Christian name. Interesting. So you can call into 888-775-3773. People are already filling up the lines, but there are, I see one open. But let's get on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how's it going, everybody? How are you? It's pretty gross what people are, the people who are out there flapping their gums. But there's a lot of shenanigans going on. Drudge is reporting that divorces are down, which is a total laugh because marriages are down. I really don't believe that per marriages, divorces are down. Maybe they are because men are so weak that they're just caving and going along with the woman and the woman's just dragging them around like on a leash. But I don't believe that compared with the number of marriages that there are, that divorces are down. But that's what Drudge is claiming. It's ridiculous. I have a quote from a man on the stream. Thank you, veterans, says a viewer here, and he has a quote from Zoroaster. I don't know how to pronounce that name. War and courage have done more great things than charity. Not your sympathy, but your bravery has saved the unfortunate. Interesting, huh? Courage for sure. And in some cases, maybe, there's a whole lot of war that's unnecessary, isn't there? And May Gaster says, I like the Epoch Times. They sent out a free print paper in the spring. It was beautiful. Yeah. They seem to be solid and honest and wanting to be measured and truthful. And I respect that. Present themselves well. Isn't there somebody who's called a optics respecter? Good, very good optics. So here's a question from Revolver News. Why did 6 battleground states with Democrat governors all pause counting on election night? I remember this happening. I remember they mentioned it in Georgia, I think PA, or at least specific areas within those states. You know, the black areas. And it's an article from the Gateway Pundit by Jim Hoft, who's been around a while. You know, he can be a little hit or miss in my impression, but he seems to be on the side of what's right? He says the liars at far left PolitiFact, that's a good start, right? Came out and said that the counting did not stop in those states, but they're only telling half the story, he says. In Georgia and several states on election night, the officials announced that they would resume counting in the morning. And I remember seeing like some push notification to that effect, reported by mainstream news, because I get push notifications from them. A push notification for the boomers is when you get a notification on your screen, on your phone. But he calls that a head fake. Because they say, oh, we're going to resume counting in the morning. But did everybody know that they meant 1 a.m.? Because according to one man, David Schaefer, in Fulton County, Georgia, elections officials told the media and their observers, the poll observers, poll watchers, people who are trying to keep the elections honest, watching them, they were shutting down the tabulation center at State Farm Arena at 10:30 p.m. on election night, only to continue counting ballots in secret at 1 a.m. Sneaky, sly people. And I'm told, they say, and I don't know, but they say that there have been ballot dumps. And that's all it really takes, is so-called ballot dumps that may or may not be genuine, right? In Michigan, they dumped 138,000 votes for Biden in the middle of the night. Not one vote went for Trump. Supposedly, they changed that thing later and said, oh, yeah, some of them went to Trump. But shady business. Wisconsin also dumped votes at 4 a.m., all for Biden, they said. Or basically all for Biden, they said. In Pennsylvania, Joe Biden received over 1 million votes after Election Day, over 1/3 of his totals. And a claim says that millions of votes all switched from President Trump to Biden or were lost, according to the Gateway pundit. Epoch Times also reported on this thing. They report on this, what is it, like a software or a machine or something like that called Dominion, or by this manufacturer called Dominion. Very fishy. But they want to say, oh, no, nothing to see here. No, all this, the claims of fraud are the fraud, says some guy named David Frum. I think he writes for The Atlantic or something like that. And this AJ Delgado woman is retweeting him, who used to be with the Trump campaign. Turncoat, huh? I think she's the one who cheated with one of the Trump campaign people, Jason Miller. I think she had a child by him. Sick. She's a never-Trumper, a neocon. AJ Delgado. Oh, no, Frum. Her too. David Frum, yeah. Oh, he pretends that he's a conservative sometimes? Oh, gosh. Please. I don't know. These people are not honest. Look at the people who are saying these things, and they're so quick to deny anything's wrong and so quick to accuse us of lying, including Twitter. Twitter nuked the account that broke Maidengate. Remember I told you yesterday about Maidengate? They were allegedly, according to what they say, they were using ladies' maiden names to vote a second time rather than vote a second time in other states using the old names. Or somebody was using their names, their maiden names, to pretend like a valid voter. And Twitter blocked that person's account. And they're constantly, only to conservatives are they saying, these claims are disputed. But all the reports that say this, what's that guy's name? Richard, I told you about it at the end of hour 1 in Hake News. Richard Hopkins. They say Richard Hopkins, he's the postal worker in Erie, PA, who said, according to a signed sworn statement, affidavit, that the postal manager or whatever, supervisor, said backdate the ballots to the 3rd. And then some guy came in and basically intimidated him, tried to mess with him mentally, talking out of both sides of his mouth, saying, I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm trying to scare you. I'm not trying to put you under stress, but I am. Your mind gets clearer under stress. We're trying to control our minds, saying all kinds of weird, creepy things, right? No lawyer present, grilled him for 4 hours. Did he even look into the allegation that he made, the accusation that he made under a sworn statement that they did backdate ballots? I don't know. But they're saying the headlines read, oh, he recanted his thing. He lied. He signed a sworn affidavit, but he was lying. He admitted that he was lying. He was bribed, they say. He was paid $130,000 to lie. So they claim. Because I think there's a reward for whistleblowers, right? But according to maybe Project Veritas themselves are offering a reward for real evidence. Keyword real, true evidence, because conservatives want the truth. Liberals don't mind lies, and they don't mind lying. And there are some fake conservatives who are getting caught up into it, and they'll run with a lie, or they'll jump to conclusions. No, we have to stay calm and stick with the truth. But they're not, Twitter's not saying, this claim is disputed. In fact, they're putting headlines that aren't even true. They're saying that Washington Examiner reported that this person recanted his claim. And Washington Examiner in their article says, according to House Democrats. But this person says, no, he did not recant the claim. And so they're deceiving people with their fake headlines. This is Twitter, the fake news publisher. Section 230? Or what about breaking up the monopolies? It's ridiculous. And these, Mark Zuckerberg, remember he donated all kinds of money? Maybe $300 million to supposedly support voter efforts. And there was this huge campaign to push people to vote. Get out and vote. And it's pushing all these Democrat stuff. And, most people are blind, brainwashed idiots. And they don't have the sense to vote correctly. I'm going to read you some Epoch Times headlines and stuff. And I want to get to some calls real quick. Thank you to Jesse Lee Peterson hosting the Hake Report. Noah's Ark, Kansas with the diamond. Ragnar0321 says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ragnar0321. Mighty Mike 1 gave a diamond and said, howdy, Hake. Great to meet you this past weekend. Yeah, thank you for joining. That was cool to meet you. That's nice. Deport poll workers. Let me play for you this clip of this man, since I mentioned him, Richard Hopkins, who went to Project Veritas, which is a legit journalistic, he calls himself a guerrilla journalist, the James O'Keefe, who founded Project Veritas, organization, watchdog organization, investigative journalist. They are journalists. This guy went to them, and he submitted an affidavit to Lindsey Graham saying, they said, backdate the ballots. We want to count all these idiots who are voting all late because they tend to be Democrat. I'm putting words in their mouth, right? But that's essentially what very suspicious probably happened. Here is Richard Hopkins debunking the Washington compost that Twitter is still amplifying as if it's true. Listen to this.
My name is Richard Hopkins. I am the postal employee who came out and whistle blew on the Erie, PA Postal Service, postal office. I am right at this very moment looking at an article written by Washington Post. It says that I fabricated the allegations of ballot tampering. I'm here to say that I did not recant my statements. That did not happen. That is not what happened. And you will find out tomorrow. And I would like that the Washington Post recant their wonderful little article that they decided to throw out there out of random.
Shady, huh? Who are you going to trust? That guy? Or the Washington Compost? Or neither, and wait and see? I'm kind of leaning towards that guy, but I guess we have to wait and see. But I love the fact that that is a veteran, by the way. Marine Corps veteran. So happy Veterans Day to Richard Hopkins. And if you're telling the truth, right on. He seems like he is. He seems like an honest person. But we'll see. They're also claiming no, thousands of people or tens of thousands of people dead people didn't vote in Michigan or PA. Real quick, I have this also silent clip. It's just a silent video of, well, it's screen recording of me on the PA website again. And I noticed an updated message, what seems to be an updated message. I hadn't noticed it before. They're explaining what, you can play this, I think it's 12. Yeah. You can just play it right now because it has no sound. I'm on the Open Data PA website, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The data, they say the reason some birth dates will display as 1/1800 is due to confidentiality reasons. And they say mostly it's for victims of domestic violence, they claim. So there's 1800, but they don't explain the 1895, 1850, 1854, 1900, 1901, 1917. And there are some people who are like 100 years old plus, or were, maybe 1700 plus, 1800 people who were still living in this. Well, actually, that was in the state of Michigan. This is PA. But I'm just showing all these people over 100 years old. Democrats, too, many of them. Some of them are Republicans. Did they vote? And look at them. Many of them, most, I dare say, returned their ballots. 1800, 1850s, 1890s, early 1900s. Anything 1920 and earlier is over 100 years old. Are those people really idiots enough to vote for Joe Biden? I don't know. Crazy, huh? I went kind of long with this, but you get the picture. And they say, oh, victims of domestic violence. It was for confidentiality reasons that we just put this. Well, according to some reports, people were just writing in the birth dates of witnesses. Because, you know, if you mail in a ballot, you're supposed to get a witness signature and you're supposed to put the address of the witness. In some cases, they didn't fill out the addresses. And so poll workers were filling in addresses. And in some cases, they were filling out birth dates and putting 1/1900. What? The poll workers would fix the ballots that were sent in wrong. Huh. Weird. All kinds of shenanigans going on. Crazy. In Wisconsin elections panel led clerks to fill out witness addresses contrary to state law. Stop the Steal rally was held in Madison, Wisconsin yesterday, I think, according to the Epoch Times. Yes, and it is pronounced Epoch Times. Look it up and listen to how they pronounce it themselves. I know it looks like Epoch. More eligible voters in Michigan than population size is one headline from the Epoch Times. McEnany? I don't know. That Kaylee lady announces 234 pages of affidavits alleging election irregularities in Michigan. Affidavits, that's evidence. A sworn statement is evidence. Witness accounts. is evidence. It may not be right. Yeah, and in some cases, people do. Whisper Soul says, have a friend who got 2 ballots in the mail-in ballots for her and her husband who's dead. She could have cast 4 votes, she says. They're supposed to check, and sometimes they do. I think in my case, they checked whether I had voted already or not. But there's a whole lot of ways to mess with stuff. There are supposedly robust safeguards, according to Google, that prevent that. They'll let everything else slide. They'll let illegal aliens come in. PA headlines. Pennsylvania's Allegheny County to count over 2,000 ballots with missing dates. Shady. Pennsylvania received 10,000 mail ballots after polls closed on Election Day. 10,000. A few 10,000 like that, and you just completely swayed the election and made it look like Biden stomped Trump. When I think it's the other way around, honestly. Frankly, right? Frankly, Pennsylvania's legal challenge, Trump's Pennsylvania legal challenge, may end up in the Supreme Court. We'll see. I have info on Georgia and Nevada and Arizona. But first, let me get to some calls. I want to get to Samuel in Sweden. He wants to touch on justice and the justice system. Samuel, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well.
Hey.
Yeah, it's something. I think it's something you mentioned yesterday on your stream. It was about someone who had committed a crime, but they considered him being mentally challenged or something.
Yep.
And they gave him a soft punishment, if I remember correctly.
They often do. In some cases, they plead not guilty because of mental insanity or something like that, mental illness.
Yeah, but what I want to say is that I think that it should be same punishment for the same crime, no matter what.
Right.
It's because now we live in an unfair society. I mean, it's the same in Sweden as in America, where they have the aggravating circumstances and mitigating circumstances. And I think, there should just be a same punishment for the same crime. I mean, and of course the crime should be harsh if it's a evil crime.
Right.
So, I mean, it should not be, there should be no soft punishments for, hard crimes.
I totally agree.
So,
people are just starting to feel sorry for criminals, and then they crack down on people who are standing up for what's right. They're like, "Oh, you're Nazis." It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but
they are not for what's right. It's like a female mindset, female-minded liberals.
But it's just recently that I see that we live in an unjust justice system, because the justice statue, the female justice, image,
right,
with she has something for her eyes so she can't see. But I mean, they see all the time. They make different kind of decisions. I mean, it's not fair. I mean,
right.
Nobody can believe the justice system is fair.
Yeah, it's true. It's biased against men. It gives special treatment to the people who have sway with the government and with the politics. Look at what they did to Bill Cosby. Accusations, the court of public opinion, based on a whole bunch of accusations, they said, "Oh, he's guilty." Oh, because 60-something women accused him. That's not evidence. Those are accusations.
When it comes to those sexual allegation things, I think there should be a law that says that a woman or man has to come forth with the allegations as soon they are capable of the incident happened. I mean, some women have been, captured by some freaks, and they're captured many years, whatever, there's stories about that. But right. I mean, as soon as a woman or man is able to report to the police about a rape or whatever. If they don't do that, it should be disregarded. They should not be allowed to come years and years afterward.
All they do is say, "Oh, but I was intimidated. I was scared. I was ashamed."
But if they know there is a law that says that they have to do it immediately,
right,
they can't blame anything. They have to do it, or just keep silent for the rest of their life.
But instead, they're trying to make it longer. They're trying to get rid of statutes of limitations. They're saying 10 years, no, 15 years. No, 15 years is too short. So 20 plus 30 years later, you can accuse people. It's so silly. Mentally ill people. A nutty woman like that Kavanaugh accuser was given this huge platform to be a nutcase, and all the nutcases who believed her felt validated, and to this day they think that Kavanaugh is guilty. Same thing with what... To this day they're messing with what's his name? Clarence Thomas. Based on nothing. Huh? And the accusations against him were nothing too, by the way. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shameful.
Well, I just want to give my 5 cents about that,
Yeah. I appreciate it, Samuel. So we'll see what happens. Yep. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. Have a nice day.
All right. Take care. Let me get to Julio in Rhode Island. First-time caller. Wants to talk about the Democrats. Julio, how are you?
Hey, how are you, Hank?
Fine. Thank you.
Thank you. No, I'm just calling in because I actually work with a lot of people that are totally liberal and democratic, and I always hear them having their little conversations about how they're so right and how the election is going the way it's supposed to go because Trump is, so bad and he's, the scum of the earth or something.
Yeah.
And I just clearly tell them, I'm like, well, if anything, how all the voting and everything's coming in and the ballots and everything, everybody's super excited to jump on the bandwagon that Biden won. But I'm just like, dude, it looks like he won, but he hasn't won yet because they haven't, verified all of the ballots. You guys are jumping the gun a little bit too early,
Yep.
And I'm trying to tell them, they're like, oh, well, Trump only wants to have a recount because he's a sore loser and he doesn't like losing. And I was like, well, all men, as a man in general, what man wants to lose?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially wrongfully.
Right. Yeah,
and
to
so
a cheater.
I told him, I was like, yeah, and I was like, if anything, you guys should be encouraging the recount because if anything, that would make you guys look even better at the end of the day for the simple fact that, he's such a loser, right? So, make him look worse if you guys did it right and fair, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
What do you guys have to lose?
Yeah.
But they're like, no, we can't do it because he just wants to win and all this. I'm like, come on, you guys sound like a bunch of sore losers. Like when you guys are kids playing video games, there's that one kid that just no, he's winning because he's doing the same thing. Like, no, come on, guys.
Yeah, I know.
Let's be grown up about this. And another thing that I always mention to them, I was just like, well, think about it like this. Let's just say you guys are all excited Biden is winning. He wins, right? But you guys are all jumping the gun before the day comes to tell you who actually won because, I wouldn't want to disappoint myself saying somebody won and then the day comes where we find out he cheated.
Right.
What do you think the country's going to go into? The country's going to go, for me, in my opinion, it's going to go worse than the BLM. The whole George Floyd thing, forget it. That's just going to be like 10 times that.
I don't know what the reaction is going to be, but it's super shady. They are jumping the gun to say that he won. They're jumping the gun to say that the whistleblowers are lying, or one whistleblower. They're saying, oh, this whistleblower lied, and it's like communists. They're just outright saying what's exactly not true.
Yeah, it is ridiculous too, and on top of that, also it's like if something is working in the Republican side or Trump side, if it's working in our favor, they're quick to be like, oh, somebody paid them to do it, or this is a scam, and Trump got people working in on it, and they're gonna rob us for the election. I'm like, no, but when we say the very same thing to them and we give them evidence, they're completely blind. Like they
Right.
literally throw them in the rabbit hole and they, just keep throwing more dirt on themselves. It's ridiculous. And I
Yeah.
was like, you guys got to be, like stop being double standard and just be honest with yourself. Be like, hey, if we win, we win. Let the best man win. But we all know who the best man is. So
Yeah. I think they're
know?
not. I think that they're not capable of being honest, because if they were honest and they wanted honesty, they would be supporting Trump. You know what I mean? Because these people, the people that they're listening to are liars. The mainstream media is trying to change reality and sway reality by swaying people's perceptions on a mass scale by asserting things that are outright not true. And it's pretty ridiculous. Like Twitter
yeah, you are
is
100%.
Twitter
Yeah, go ahead.
is really ridiculous. They should be like, I don't know if they can be sued or prosecuted or anything, but they're doing some really shady things. And it's petty liberal people. And I've known that for a long time, because I remember I got cited for like hate speech or supporting violence or something, because I got in a little Twitter argument with this black female on Twitter couple of years ago. And I put, it was after Obama's portrait artist, or one of the Obamas, Michelle or Barack, had painted pictures of black females carrying decapitated knives and decapitated white women's heads. And then somebody put, oh, well, white people once owned blacks as slaves. And I said, it's ridiculous, because black on white crime, blacks kill more than twice as many whites as vice versa. And there's like a fifth as many blacks. So they're like 10, 11, 12 times as likely to murder whites as vice versa. And
100%.
yeah. So I just said blacks kill twice as many whites as vice versa. And Twitter censored my my account. They suspended my account until I deleted some tweets. And basically I was in Twitter jail for a week for saying something that was completely factually true. I didn't make any accusation or harassment against this black lady. She responded to me, and I responded back to her. But no, if it's a white male versus a black female, they're going with the lie and supporting evil. And that's Twitter for you.
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I remember a while back I was listening to a podcast with Joe Rogan and people that are associated with Twitter. I believe they're like not CEOs, but they like kind of pull the strings and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were pretty much just trying to say that, whatever they put on their thing is it's not biased or anything like that. And I was like, but you guys are, 100% clearly taking the left side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're shutting down everybody that's speaking the truth. But it's more like what makes, like Jesse says, it's whatever makes them feel good is what they go on. And it's just, ridiculous. And it's true about the black crime that happens out here, because not all, but most. They do the crime, and a lot of people don't really like it. And I'm just like, listen, at the end of the day, I wasn't even into politics until this year.
Right.
I had my little opinions about Trump and everything, but I only got into it because the lie is becoming bigger, and I'm not the person. I used to be a really big liar when I was a kid, and then slowly growing up, I realized that I'm just putting myself in a bigger hole. I might as well just be honest. You know what I'm saying? With myself, especially. So I'm just like, it's just crazy how everybody tends to want to favor wrong instead of good. And it's really clear these days too how evil is really trying to masquerade themselves as good. It's insane. It really is.
Yeah, that's so true. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Hank. I appreciate what you guys do. God bless you guys. You guys are amazing.
Nice.
Believe it. And everybody needs to understand, if you're not on the side with us, with God, then you a beta. So,
right on,
man,
Julio. It's good to hear from you.
Man, I'll call in. Don't worry. I be calling Jesse all the time, but it's so busy. But
I know.
I love that I can get in contact with you, because, it's good talk, man.
Nice. Appreciate it, Julio. Take care, man. We'll talk again.
You too, man. Have a good one.
All right.
Later.
We're going to get to all of your calls, guys. 888-775-3773. In Arizona, a Nevada Secretary of State, a woman, supposedly a Republican, issued a statement on the voter fraud allegations. She was hesitant to make any declarations or even say how many cases of fraud they're dealing with. And fraud means many things, because There's lots of things that are, other dishonest things that you can do that you wouldn't necessarily think, oh, that's voter fraud, but it counts as voter fraud. But she's not saying much right now. Sounds kind of like a rhino to me. In Nevada, would you be surprised if there's rhinos? Biden has extended his lead in Georgia, though. Who knows? Who knows? Democrats suggested that people move to Georgia to vote in the elections. Some experts have issued warnings. I heard reports that people from New Jersey and New York and California were moving in droves to Texas and PA. But what are they doing? They're turning it blue. They're coming in paying no income tax in some cases. I think in Texas, I'm not sure. But no, they're still supporting evil because they're blind, brainwashed, shallow people, just like the rhinos who are celebrating this stuff happening. Because rhinos are, fiscal conservative. Remember we elected in California. I voted for him. I'm sorry. The governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Ridiculous person. Did not enforce the immigration situation. He kissed up to the illegals. Of course, the illegals hated him too. Hated him anyways. He wasn't for what's right. He was a so-called fiscally conservative. A phony person. And then he stood up against President Trump. Please. Trump is gaining on Biden in Arizona in the latest ballot count. It's so ridiculous that they couldn't finish. Doesn't it seem ridiculous that they couldn't finish counting? I heard that he won in Alaska, North Carolina too, I believe. There's a potential recount in Arizona as the margin narrows. It's pretty shady stuff. Let me check this. Let me check the super chats. Robot Moose gave a diamond and said, to this day.
To this day.
Twitter supports Black Lives Matter. They're not for what's right. They're just for lies. Duh. There's this woman who, oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. I retweeted it this morning. Somebody tagged me on it. I retweeted it on the Hake Report account. The mayor, who's a female lesbian, black female lesbian, Democrat, kiss up mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot. I guess she's very immature, and so she likes to do skits and childish, so she likes to do skits. Really commanding a whole lot of respect in the city of Chicago. She pretended like she's asleep, and then there's all this music like she's having a bad dream, and then she wakes up, and then she said, science is back. Science is real. Thank God we have an administration, because she's pretending that Joe Biden won, that respects science. Masks work. Social distancing works. And all this stuff. And then there's another lesbianish looking white female who's sitting at a desk wearing glasses, pretending that she's all into science too. And says all this stuff about, the COVID stuff. Basically straw-manning President Trump. Saying that, trying to debunk arguments that he's never made. And pretending that they are for what's right. And she's a lesbian. And she's a Democrat. They're not for science, for the truth. No real scientist supports lesbianism. Sleepy Dragon says, Hake will, some people call me Hank. Will Dems ever admit that Trump won the election? I don't know. I can't imagine it. Unless it's a Jeff Van Drew type. Isn't Jeff Van Drew from, I forget if he's from New Jersey, but he switched from Democrat to Republican, and he won his re-election, by the way, I believe. Fan of the Ladies says, MSM is over with if Trump wins the office. Defund Planned Parenthood, I think he's saying. Mo better stand up with the Ninjagini, very generous. Keep in mind, politicians say Antifa is not organized. Not one street pole in Europe without their sticker on it, he says. No, they're very organized. They may be, what do they call themselves? A horizontal organization or something like that? Commies? Mo better stand up with a diamond. Says Antifa seizing their petty little brown shirt attire now. Sizing their petty little brown shirt attire now. Yeah. They're the most violent people. Them and Black Lives Matter and the blacks and many Hispanics and white Democrats. Most violent people that you want to meet, but they want to scaremonger about white nationalist violence. And there's a few over there. There's a few white nationalists who are liberal. And they're angry, so they're liberal. And you can find a few who may commit violence. Even them, though, they only retaliate for the most part. And in some cases, they retaliate against people who they were not the ones who attacked them. Mo Better Stand Up says, except on a global level, and I'm not sure what that means, on a global level. Danny, I will get to T though, but Danny in Maryland wants to talk about voter shenanigans in his neighborhood. Danny, how are you doing?
Good. How you been?
I've been fine, thank you.
I was just calling you back. I don't know if you remember. I told you that I was going to go vote, even if I had to go crawling to the voting place.
Yeah. You're the one with you had a crazy car accident or something?
Yes. Yep.
And
so,
yeah.
Hake, when I got there, this is in Maryland. All they asked me was for my name.
Yep.
And an address.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
So,
same here.
I can only imagine how many illegal people voted, man.
Yeah. Because in California, you get your driver license, and they're letting illegals get driver licenses here, and automatically they register you to vote. Excuse me. Isn't that corrupt? Isn't that very shady?
Oh, man. I was getting my ID or my they give you this slip when you register to vote. I was thinking they were going to ask for one of those.
Right.
But nope. They just ask for a name and an address and go and vote.
Yeah, and as long as your name's not crossed off, you can do it. It's
incredible. Did you hear about
crazy.
the list that AOC is creating with these crazy people?
I've only
target people.
I haven't heard details on it. I just know that.
Incredible.
What kind of people is she targeting, or is she encouraging the targeting of?
She said, what I've been hearing is that these people already had the list out there. They have a whole bunch of people already, and they were targeting people who were working for Trump, all the way down to the people who had voted for him.
Wow. Yep. Twitter has the feature, you could call it a feature, that allows people to make lists and then share them of Twitter users. And I know that I'm on a list or two or a few because I find myself blocked by who's that? Who's that one actor who has every Trump supporter blocked? And there's probably a bunch of them. But these famous actors have little no-name people blocked because they hate Trump that badly. And that's been going on for years. And
yes, sir.
I'm not surprised that Alexandria Cortez is basically an evil person. Not basically, she is an evil person.
I even heard in one of the reports that they did, because this was in the news as well, that she was saying we got to squash the Republican Party completely, to get rid of it completely.
Yeah.
And, talking like that. I was like, these people are crazy.
Yeah. Jennifer Rubin. That's Jennifer Rubin, Nick. And she used to be she was like, she called herself a conservative blogger for Washington Post. And she's not a Christian.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. She's a Trump hater.
And then they have the audacity to call President Trump a dictator.
Right.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. They're the ones who are clamping down on people, violating their rights, and they're not for what's right. And then the people fall for it. There's a whole bunch of suckers squashing and burning down the Republican Party.
They think they're going to get away with this, but I think it's going to go up to the representatives. And this is what I think, because they're not going to know where those late votes came from.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I think. They're either going to have to throw them out, or it's going to go to the representatives to vote, like it says on the Constitution.
Oh, yeah, the state. Are you talking about the state legislature?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard from that guy who his organization represented Jesse Lee Peterson against Jesse Jackson. Because that guy from, what's that organization with, Judicial Watch. The guy in charge of Judicial Watch said that according to the Constitution, if the votes are not settled or whatever by like election day, with something like within a week or whatever, the state legislatures are supposed to put electors
one
themselves.
Vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every state legislator gets one vote.
Okay.
And guess what? Who has more states? It's Trump. Trump has more states than Biden, so he'll have more votes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Interesting, man. Tom Fitton is the guy, the head of Judicial Watch. Yeah, I saw his tweets about that. I wasn't aware of it. But, they don't want to. They can literally get away with violating the law, violating the Constitution, because these are not people who have any respect for law. Look at what they do with the illegals. They just openly defy everything. Look at what they do with the rioters. They don't prosecute them. Look at what they did to Kyle Rittenhouse. And look at what they've done with Trump. They don't stand for what's right whatsoever. And there's like half of the country seemingly on their side, cheering them on. So it's hard to say, even though we're right, it's hard to say what's gonna happen. Yeah. But we'll see.
My phone is acting out.
Okay, Danny, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. God bless you guys.
You as well. Take care. Bye. Crazy. Mo Betta stand-up explains his brown shirts comment. They're sizing for their brown shirts attire now. And I think that's a reference to in Germany. Was that the Nazis? The Nazis had brown shirts who would beat people up in the streets. Would they get into fights with the communists? Something like that? Because there were violent communists also in Germany, right? And so they don't really tell you the whole story, right? So the brown shirts in Germany were attacking the communists and maybe even attacking innocent people too. I don't know. If they're that evil, they might. But he's saying on a global level, because that was constrained, those were German nationalists, supposedly, right? Antifa put on brown shirts, but on a global level, he's explaining. And that's true. They don't want people to be for what's right anywhere in the world. Oh, we're all one world. Except for you people you're not human, you're a Nazi. You're not human, you're racist. Sick people. Let me get to T in Alabama. T, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Good.
You're doing good, huh?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, ever since y'all great white
You're
hope,
doing good or you are good?
I'm good.
No, you're not.
I'm good.
No, you're not.
I'm good.
No, you're not.
All right, Jesse Jr. But anyway, man.
It's
Let me
also
ask
in the
you,
Bible.
When y'all
It's also in the Bible.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
There's a lot of stuff that's in the Bible that you guys don't go by. So don't even you, Jesse.
Such as what?
Y'all guys don't call yourself Christian.
Such
'cause
as
y'all,
what?
Y'all a bunch of hypocrites. You know that? Seriously.
Name one thing that's in the Bible that we don't go by.
Pretty much everything, man.
Thank you.
Pretty much everything.
Thank you. I didn't think so.
I mean, seriously. Especially y'all, y'all daddy. But anyway, when y'all gonna get over this, man? You know, y'all sound like a bunch of heartbroken females, and your boyfriend just left you for another woman.
Don't get too
Y'all
nasty
sitting
now.
around whining. No, I ain't getting too nasty. I'm just being straight up with you.
That's not straight up.
When y'all gonna stop?
You're not
whining?
straight up.
You know.
You're coming at weird angles. That's not straight up.
Stop trying to look. Just can you let me talk, please? Okay, please. Okay. And also, man, on a more serious note, okay, your Messiah Jesse, he didn't want me to call the show today, and I want to call
Right?
him.
No, you know what? It's not today. I forgot too, but you were banned from the show. I forgot about that.
I know.
He
and
you're still trying to call in like a scorned
But you
woman.
know what? No, it's not that, man.
It's like a scorned
sometimes
woman.
When people just get on there and just say ridiculous stuff, it's sad, man. Really.
Oh, yeah.
It's sad.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, I feel, honestly, I feel sorry for Jessica.
Right.
He's a sad old man. You can look at him,
Yeah, he's very sad.
Won't let the gray show in his beard. He got to, dark that up, try to look younger.
It's called TV,
sad,
man.
No, it ain't
It's called TV, and you're acting like a female.
Being fake.
No, you're the one who's fake.
But James,
You're being nasty.
Man, on the serious
What type
note,
of a nasty
I'm
person
gonna let you,
calls in?
if you don't
Are
mind.
you in your 50s?
Yeah.
Or your 60s?
Sure is.
60s.
No, I'm in my late 50s now.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Highly
But I just
immature.
wanna say this.
Highly immature. T.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Jesse Jr. But anyway, man, I just want to say this. I want you to give this message to Jesse. And this
No,
is
I'm not
serious, man.
delivering any messages to Jesse.
No.
No.
This ain't Look,
No,
this ain't
no.
no crack at
No,
him or
no,
nothing
no,
like that.
no,
Just wanna- yeah, please, just let me say this, man.
No.
Okay? All right. Even
No. Because your comment was,
No.
hold on. This is what is
Well,
written.
hey.
This is what is written down in his comment, right? Because I get a notification on what they want to talk about, and it says,
Okay.
"When are you going to admit defeat regarding the election?" That's his comment.
Yeah.
He hasn't even mentioned that once.
Yeah,
He hasn't mentioned it.
I mentioned that. I
No, you
asked
didn't.
When y'all gonna
No,
get
you
over
didn't.
it. I asked
Get
you
over
when
what?
you're gonna get over it, man.
Get over what?
That your great white hope is through. Okay.
It's not
And I'm
done
gonna tell
yet.
you, hey,
It's not done yet.
Flash on that, James.
Hey,
James,
T.
newsflash.
It's not
Listen,
done yet.
Let me just say this, man.
No,
Let me
hey
say
T. When it's
Okay,
done,
go
then
on.
we're over it. But we're
Okay.
gonna still mention the lies
Okay,
and smears
Okay,
by the
well,
fake
do
news
that,
people.
Do that. Y'all
Yeah.
gonna do that. 'Cause
But it's not over yet.
that's what
T,
it's
are you
for.
aware that it's not
Yeah.
over?
Was it over with when they announced Trump the president on the day, and they said, he's the president-elect? Did you guys say, hey, it's not over with until it's certified? Did you guys get on there and run that?
Totally different
No.
situation, T.
Okay,
Are you
yeah,
aware that it's not
always
over?
with you guys.
Are you aware that it's not
Always,
over?
yeah. It's over, James.
It was
Okay, but
over.
let me say
Hold
this,
on,
man.
T.
Let me
Hey,
say
hold on, T. What's her name? Hillary. She conceded. Trump did not concede,
Okay.
so it's not over.
Okay, good. Okay.
So when are you
Yeah.
going to admit that it's not over?
Both with
But you won't admit it because you're a female. You don't like to admit the
all right.
truth.
But James, can I say this, man?
No.
Can I say this?
No, you cannot say that.
And you know what?
No, you cannot say that.
No, because this is about Jesse.
No, I want to hear you admit. I want to hear you admit, T.
Hey, James, I want to give my condolences.
No. I don't want to hear you admit.
In regard to his sister, okay?
No. You're not changing the subject.
So you can't get that.
No,
this
you're
is
changing the
serious.
subject because
You can't get that message.
No. Shh.
Okay, go on.
Yeah.
No, don't.
Are you going to admit that it is not over?
James, it's over. Okay.
Okay. So you can't admit, just like a woman.
James.
Just like a woman.
Man, would y'all grow up, man? Seriously. Y'all, it gets old, man. Would y'all be serious?
You're the ones not
Y'all
being
whining.
serious.
Like I said, y'all
You're
been whining
laughing. You're
every
laughing
since-
at reality.
every
Present
since.
reality
Your boy-
is not over.
And another thing, James.
How come you hate Trump so much?
James, I
T.
voted
Hey,
for
T.
Hey, James.
How come
I
you
voted
hate Trump? You voted for
James,
Trump?
I voted for. Yes, I did.
I don't know if I
I sure
believe you,
did.
man. Then how come you're
James.
gloating? How come you're gloating and how come
I'm
you're
not
pretending that
gloating.
it's
I'm
over?
just trying to get y'all guys to say
Why are
yeah,
you pretending that it's over when it's not over?
Because it's over with, man. Okay.
No,
Yeah,
how come you're
and like I said,
pretending?
truthfully,
How come you're pretending that it's not that it's over when
James.
it's not over?
Okay, all right, James. It ain't over with. That makes you feel better.
No,
Okay.
because you're
Now,
not
let me
actually
say
being
this.
honest. You're being shallow
Okay,
now.
well, when
You're
I
being
be
phony.
honest, but you don't want to accept.
No, you're not being honest. You can't be
Ain't no
honest.
being honest with you guys. Y'all guys want to hear y'all own little truth. And that's all y'all want to
It's
hear.
the truth. It's the
You know what I'm
truth.
saying? It's sad,
the
man.
truth.
It's
T.
sad.
Hey, T.
Accept the results of the election, man.
You really
Arizona, I
believe
heard
this
you
guy
said something
voted?
about
He
Arizona.
claims he voted for
I hear-
Trump.
James, how do I need, me telling you that? Like I said, I'm not ashamed to tell you that. And that, I
But
took
you're
a
not,
lot
but
of
you are
slack.
ashamed.
Look,
you are
no,
ashamed
I took a
to
lot of
admit that
slack.
Jesse Lee Peterson is right, that you are
Right
a
on what?
female-minded person, and that it's not over yet.
James, let me tell you something about me, man. I've been married over 30 years. Okay?
Wow.
I got, 4
Simp.
kids. I got 7 grandkids. Okay?
Uh-huh.
All right. I have a real good job. Okay. I have a real good life. Okay.
It doesn't sound like it.
All right.
It sounds
I'm
like
a-
you're.
I'm a person.
It sounds
I'm
like you're
not
a petty,
Look,
malicious
no.
person.
I'm a person that just I get tired of the bull crap that some people talk.
You should be looking at yourself, T.
Like your boy Jesse. Okay.
He's not a boy, he's a man.
Every day and lie about the Bible, telling folks the only way to
T.
get to God is through forgiving their
T.
daddy. How ridiculous is that?
T. You're not happy. You're bitter.
James, I'm happy to say it because y'all whine like a bunch of heartbroken little females,
And you
can't get over
hate
it.
us.
Okay,
You hate us, so you want us to be miserable like you.
like I said, this man.
You hate us, so you want us to be miserable like you.
Tell Jesse, man.
No, I'm not telling
Okay.
him anything.
I send my condolences for the passing.
That's
of
very
his
nice.
sister. Okay.
You send your
Do that
condolences for the passing of his sister.
Have no,
That's
no,
very
no
nice.
ill feelings toward Jesse, man.
Huh?
Again.
Yes, you
but
do.
Like I said, have no ill
You have
feelings
all
toward
kinds
him,
of hatred towards
but
Jesse.
Like I said, I have, toward stupidity.
No.
Okay.
No, you're the one who's stupid.
Okay. And I feel sorry for anybody that calls in and want to take this.
You
man
feel
to
sorry
fight,
because you're a
especially when it comes down
judgmental,
to race.
nasty person.
James, let that go, man.
No,
Stop
I'm
trying
not
to be
letting
like
that go.
Jesse,
You're a
man.
judgmental, nasty
seriously,
person,
Stop trying
T.
to be like Jesse, man.
No,
You sound
I'm not.
ridiculous,
No, I don't
man. Be
care.
yourself.
I don't care.
Okay.
I
know
don't
you
care. You're
I
a
know you
nasty
don't.
person.
Like I said,
You
stop
can't
trying to
help
be
but
like
be a
your dad.
nasty, evil person.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Stop trying to be like your daddy, James. Okay.
Hey T.
Give your message
Hey
to
T.
your daddy.
Hey
brother.
T.
Okay.
T. You're being very female. Because you're trying to act like you're above it all. I'm the calm one, and James is trying to be like Jesse.
Hey, James.
I'm the calm one, and James is trying to
do
be
you
like
have-
Jesse. You're fake.
James, do you have?
Hey T.
Hey,
Hey
let me
T.
ask you, do
Hey
you
T.
have a female?
Hey T. You're fake.
Do you have a female? in
I
your
don't
life
have to
besides
answer
your
that question. You're fake.
mother? I know you don't, because you're scared. You don't want the truth. You want to be like your boy.
No.
50
You're-
years
T.
without a female, then want to tell
See?
folks about it.
Nasty
Y'all
person.
sound like a bunch of damn fools.
You're such a sick person, T.
All right, James.
All
And
right.
to all your listeners out there.
Bye. Ask the caller where he got his money from. Young stinks, says Mo Betta Stand Up. Sorry about that. Mo Betta Stand Up says, spot on, Hake, thank you. Yeah, about Antifa and the brown shirts. Mo Betta Stand Up says, T's interests outweigh the entire nation's constitution. Yeah, because he's so nasty that he's going to call in to gloat, pretend like he voted for Trump, and gloat, and then pretend to send condolences to Jesse because he's an emotional person, not a nice person, just fake. I'm going to get to skipping the rest of the callers in a couple of minutes here. We are already into the second hour. But I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2. Hang tight, guys. I'm going to touch on the California man who drove into a crowd. Just nastiness. And the Black Lives Matter kissing up by the LA slimes. And there's some good news for law and order and some nasty women. All right, guys, hang tight for the rest of hour 2. Be back in just a couple of minutes here. Hang tight. What's up, everybody? I'm back. It is 10:08 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Matt Living the Dream says this song is so much better with 1,000 watts behind it on high volume. You know the neighbors will hear it also. This is Matt Living the Dream. Yes, that is John Parfit of Bright Lights. Not to be confused with, there's a whole bunch of fake Bright Lights out there who are LGBTQIA madness friendly. With the song, I think it's called Come Out, but not that kind of Come Out. You know, I saw this tweet just right now from Michael Tracy, who is a liberal journalist, independent journalist, liberal, but pretty honest as far as a liberal journalist can be, right? Says Trump's rejection of the election results is fraudulent, which the results have not come in yet, but the results that we've seen so far, right? Preliminary results, is further evidence of his lack of allegiance to any traditional American exceptionalism dogma. And that's true. That's why he wants to make America great again. Because it's not great. He's seen it get worse and worse and worse over the last 40 years. 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, 100 years. I mean, he wasn't around 100 years ago. He says, shining city on a hill, that little quote thing, is not exactly compatible with elections are completely rigged by wholesale fraud, voter fraud. And that's true. And you know what? They switched it. The commies, the enemies of America within America, including the mainstream media, the Democrats, the rhinos, they switch it. Oh, America is great because it's diverse, because it's no longer being Christian, because it's no longer white, because it's this or that or this or that. I remember I think it was in Michigan, there was this Hispanic man who came in here with a son, old guy, with a young son, who he claims was crying because of how he was treated in school with racism, dealing with racism. So this white father asks, it was at this huge parent meeting, right? Community parent meeting. Because supposedly some white kids said the N-word or something like that. So, or did like Nazi salutes. Kids. Children. It's a big joke, but they want to take it overly seriously. So this white father says, then why didn't you stay in Mexico? And people are like, oh. Well, they didn't go, ooh, because they don't agree with him. They're like, you need to leave. So, females. They feel sorry for the, there were audible shrieks, people gasping and being like, shocked at common sense being told. And this Hispanic father, who is apparently a bad father to his son, just complaining to the community about his child being weak and crying, rather than toughening up his son to deal with bullies, so-called bullies. Instead, they'll bully the bullies, kids. Bully the kids. The kids who are normal. Only deal with half the issue and not even deal with that right. He says, well, I'm here because this is the greatest country in the world. He says. But what type of greatest country in the world, if he's complaining about racism? He's calling it that because of the kiss-ups. And he's kissing up too. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's true. It's the greatest country in the world. And these are phony people. They're saying, diversity is our strength. But all the diversity people are standing for pure evil. They're standing for the LGBTQIA stuff. They hate Trump. They hate America. It's disgusting. What a mess. King Alpha Nerd gave a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. I'm going to get to skipping the rest of the callers. Hang tight, guys. But King Alpha Nerd gave a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Thank you, King Alpha Nerd. He says, Maze is lying when she said about mailboxes. There was mail phishing and carriers had the keys to the boxes, so the postal inspectors changed them to avoid theft. Trump had nothing to do with that. Yeah. It was just all this hype. All of a sudden, these people notice, oh, the mailboxes are going away. It's Trump trying to suppress the mail-in vote. Jib Jab gave a super chat on Streamlabs and said, bonus dears, Hank. Trump owes it to the Dems to give them a dose of their own medicine. All 4 years, they gave Trump heck. Collusion allegations, sexual allegations, and so on and so forth. It's just amazing. Trump will serve 4 more years. I hope so. We'll see. He loves America. That's why he's running, and that's why he's fighting. And we love America. That's why we're fighting for him. And Hot Computer Smell gave a super chat and said, she's quoting the conversation. T says, make sure you let your listeners know, Hank. Click. Savage Hake. Yeah. Mess. Just mess. Which caller were you referring to, Mo Betta Stand Up, with regard to ask the caller where he got his money from? Young Stanks? But he says, Hake show still need hard Joel beats for the intro outro. We got to find a way to support Joel Friday here. Mo Betta Stand Up gave a diamond and said, diamond to buy Joel better equipment for Hake songs. Man. Joel hasn't seen a cent. I won't give anything up. Maybe I am Jewish. This is normally Joel's nap time, says Raju Laser on a what is that? Twitch. They accused Trump of voter suppression and then turned around and cheated the voters, says David Singleton. Yeah, it's true. These people are just lying. Crazy. So let me get to Skip in Augusta, Georgia. Skip, how are you doing?
Hey, man, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Nice to hear from you.
Well, good to talk with you. Look at here. Before I get on what I was going to talk about, I was a witness of out-of-control blacks yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I sent Stacy to the store, to pick up, some stuff we needed. And she was sitting at the red light, minding her own business, and a minivan come up from behind and hit her in the back and clipped the right side of it, and she hauled ass down the road. It was a black woman in a minivan, and it tore her van up, and she could see a piece of something that fell off, and could hear it scrubbing down the road, but she went right on, just hauled butt.
Just a hit and run, huh?
A pure out hit and run. Tore my bumper up, messed my tailgate up, but Stacy was all right, and the truck's all right. I could put a torch to the bumper and soften it up and bend it up a little bit, and I can fix the tailgate. And go to the junkyard and get a tail light. But it just don't make sense. She had no license or drunk or had drugs in the van with her.
Yeah.
You don't hit somebody and just leave like that.
It seems like that's a growing problem, these hit and run things, because people are just so dishonest. They don't like to just suffer the consequences. I mean, that's partly why you see all these people fighting with cops. They don't want to go to jail. They've been there already. They hate it. So they're willing to die.
I had never done a hit and run, but I can remember one time when I was about 20. I come home drunk from a bar one night, and when I woke up that next morning, there was a mailbox sticking in my where the radiator is, around the front.
Right.
Undoubtedly, I hit somebody's mailbox and took it home with me. It was hanging out the front of the truck.
That's pretty wild, Skip.
But that was years ago. If I would have known I hit it, I would have pulled over,
Right.
And left it there. But now these hit and runs.
That's pretty far gone, Skip.
They just don't, you don't care about nobody. If you're going to hit somebody and run, you're not worried about if they got hurt or anything,
Right.
That's
just thinking about yourself. And yeah, people are evil now, and evil has grown. It's been encouraged.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Well, look here.
Yeah.
You was talking earlier about how people are migrating to different states.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Georgia is the fifth largest migration state of people migrating from other states.
Why is that?
Well,
I know one thing. I hear that blacks are moving back to the South. Are they moving to Georgia from like L.A. and places?
Well, they say that they're coming from New York, California, Texas, and they even include Tennessee and Florida. But we border up with Florida,
right?
But Georgia is a nice state. The best thing about Georgia, one of the best things I like about it is, in the wintertime, if I want to drive to the mountains, it's only about a 2.5-hour drive, and I'm right there at the foothills.
Nice.
I'm right there at the mountains. And if I want to go down to the coast, in the summertime, it takes me about 2.5 to 3 hours to get to the coast. So it's like having the best of both worlds.
That's cool. Yeah, that's what it's like over here too. We're closer to the coast than that, but we're like hour or 2 hours or 3 hours from the mountains as well, depending on which mountains you want to get to. That's nice. I like that.
But I haven't really run into a lot of Yankees down here too much.
That's a good thing.
That is a good thing. But I live right here on the borderline of the ghetto.
Oh, okay.
I do see a lot of blacks.
Right.
But haven't run across any Yankee blacks or anything.
You're talking about the ones from New York and all that.
Right.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm gonna be honest now. The blacks down south, besides that woman that hit Stacy yesterday, for the most part, we don't have any. Get that damn dog, Stacy. For the most part, we don't have no trouble with them.
Yeah. I mean, that's the impression that I have with, I mean, I do see reports like, okay, Memphis, Tennessee, and places like that. And Atlanta, Georgia, there's been some riots and things like that. But in the South, they're working. So many of the blacks are working. They're decent. They may be brainwashed to be Democrats, and if you, they're probably they're infiltrating though. The evil is infiltrating and corrupting them even down there too, and all people.
It's your younger generation of blacks that
Right.
you're having trouble with.
Yep.
Your older generations, I mean, for instance, I went to the store this morning, and I was sitting in the parking lot while Stacey went to the store, and a white van pulled up. No, older black gentleman. He was probably in his 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
He had his painting clothes on. You could tell he was a painter. And he said, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "Hey, how you doing? Looks like it's going to rain today." And we talked for a couple of minutes. He went on in, did his shopping. But they're good people. I don't have a problem with the blacks at all down here in the South.
Yeah.
But if I go to the wrong areas now, where them young blacks are, which I don't go there.
Yep.
I would have a problem,
Yeah. And they're brainwashed to hate and they're brainwashed to believe in this racism thing. And it just turns them, the so-called race, into the so-called racist. Blacks are the real racist.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Now, I do to keep from taking a chance whenever I go to the convenience store, which is about 5 blocks from here in the ghetto area.
Yeah.
When I'm playing my radio, I turn some old school black music on kind of loud, slide down in the seat just a little bit, and nod at them when I go by. Let them know that, hey, there's a cool honky right there. We ain't got no trouble with him. But you got to react the way whatever area you're in. You just got to do what you got to do.
Right.
I ain't gonna pull up in there playing no Hank Williams or nothing like that. Or with no Trump flag on the back of my truck.
Right.
But for the most part, the blacks down south are really, really decent people. We don't have no trouble with them. But your younger generation, now that's a whole different story right there.
Yeah.
So, now, as far as this election thing goes, Trump is within his rights to do what he's doing, and that the mainstream media keeps saying there's no evidence of this corrupt. Get that dog, Stacey, of this corrupt balloting. But there's more evidence. They got so much evidence, that Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder can see it. They're not letting the Republicans come in there and watch what's going on. They're boarding it up where they can't even go in. And there's so much, and they got affidavits of people willing to testify of what they saw and all. But the mainstream media does not want to admit it. They do not want to talk about it. They will not talk about it. They refuse to.
Yeah. I've seen very little hint. I mentioned, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago that blacks don't mind lying, blacks don't mind cheating, and highly political-minded people who don't really believe in God, they don't mind lying and cheating. It happens a little bit on the Republican side. It happens a lot on the Democrat side. They really don't mind lying and cheating. And that applies to the mainstream media that enables them. And I don't hear anybody calling out the fact that blacks lie and cheat and steal all the time, and we're going to pretend that they didn't steal the election.
But you know what? So, hey, we can't put it all off on the blacks cheating and lying.
We can't just...
Look at the whites out there.
Yeah, them too. But, these are areas we saw black poll workers, pulling shenanigans and wearing Biden gear, cheering and all that stuff. And they don't want to admit or point out, including the Republicans. And if they lose, it's partly, I think, because of this, because they're cowards to point out that blacks are dishonest people like this. The black Democrat ones who are doing this. And yes, whites too. The mainstream media, Twitter, they're doing the same thing. They're enabling it.
They are enabling it. And one other thing real quick, hey.
Yeah.
CBS and all, of course, your left-wing media sources, which Fox ain't no better now.
I know.
I wouldn't spit on Fox if they was on fire.
I like Tucker.
Well, I like Tucker, and I don't see Tucker being there much longer. The way that whole station is leaning towards the left.
I like Steve Ducey. I think Steve Ducey. That's the daddy, right? Tucker.
I'm not sure about him.
He's the. Yeah, he's the Fox and Friends guy that likes Trump. He may not be tough, but anyway.
But I saw on CBS and a bunch of other news, lying media, where they're jumping up these coronavirus numbers again. The hospitals are getting full and overrun, and people in the hallways. They don't have beds for them. They're setting up these tents once again for them.
Where is this that you're hearing about? Where is this?
I don't remember the state.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard a little bit about that type of stuff too, such as like El Paso. Like not Twitter, Drudge. Same thing as Twitter, right? Drudge has this thing, like this headline this morning, I think. Hell Paso. El Paso is right on the border with Mexico. And, a lot of Hispanics are not exactly healthy people sometimes. Like their habits are not that great. And El Paso is probably no exception. They're right across the border from Juarez, Mexico, which is one of the most murderous cities, I think, not just in Mexico, but in the world. And El Paso has a whole lot of crazy, weird, creepy Democrats who represent that area or so-called hold office from that area. And I've heard that place is becoming like a crazy hot spot for the coronavirus thing. People are not careful. They don't want to do the fat shaming thing, and that's one of the primary problems with the health risk that comes with this COVID thing is if you have obesity, diabetes, other health problems, you're at risk. And same thing with the nursing homes. I hear that nursing homes are getting more problems too, but they want to shut the whole states down. I talked about some female so-called health researchers who want to shut the whole states down as if they should be listened to. You know what I mean? They want to, their solutions are not right. Their solutions are like overprotective helicopter mama. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but I do hear that it is a concern.
I got a friend here in Augusta. He's in a nursing home, and he has not been able to leave his room for about 6 months now. They can't have any visitors. We can't even go by and drop off like magazines or anything for them.
That's ridiculous.
They can't walk down the hallways. They cannot leave their room. Now,
that's not healthy.
Hell right there.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
Healthy at all.
Yeah.
No. And it just don't make sense, and especially when even your lying-ass CDC is saying that over 99%, 99 point something 7 or something of people that get this coronavirus recover from it.
Yeah, I don't know. They
recover from
baffling.
it,
Right.
But instead of the news sharing some good news with us and giving us hope, and letting us know it's not really as bad as it is, or they think it is, they want to put us in fear.
Yeah.
If they can keep us in fear, and I believe a lot of this stuff now coming back up with this coronavirus and all is to distract from the election that's going on.
Yeah.
I honestly do.
It could well be, man. Skip, I got to run. I appreciate it. You're making good points, though.
All right, mate.
Take care.
All right, buddy. I enjoyed it. Talk to you later.
All right. Yeah, you know how they announced the vaccine that Pfizer has come up with, along with some other pharmaceutical company, is over 90% effective. They could have checked it and confirmed that and announced it way back in October, but they delayed stuff until after Election Day to do it. Oh, we don't want to get involved in presidential elections. When you look at the donations from Pfizer employees and the pharmaceutical companies, they went way over the top donating to Joe Biden rather than to President Trump. Shady people. They don't believe in science. They support Joe Biden, who's scientifically looking not too well. What a mess. I got to get to Robert in Kansas. He wants to give a Veterans Day contribution. Robert, it's good to hear from you. Happy Veterans Day to you.
Good morning, Hake. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you.
I want to say that greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. That's what I want to say to all the veterans.
Nice.
So I want to talk about some great veterans in our history, our founding fathers, and then later the Confederates, which a lot of people think are the bad guys, but then some people, say that the founding fathers were bad. So I wanted to call in and dispute that and say that the founding fathers had a way about them, right? I mean, they were killing Indians and killing British, and they weren't soft and weak men. They were absolutely ruthless in a way, which was a necessity at the time.
Yeah.
So
survival, man.
Some people say that's bad, but what they really did, Hake, is they freed mankind for the first time in a while. And what I mean by that is, the Boston Tea Party, where you had taxation. They said taxation without representation, but really what it is the bankers, they issue your government debt, and then you have to be taxed in order to pay that debt back. Your land and labor are taxed.
And it's never paid back. It only grows.
Yes, sir. It only grows. And you're not really free then. It's a sophisticated form of slavery is what it is. And that's what the bankers wanted to establish, but our founding fathers threw that off, and they said, no, we're going to free the human man. So back then, between the founding and the Civil War, the human man was actually free, meaning that no taxation on land and labor. You actually owned your stuff. And that's why the controllers always tell us, everything is about slavery in that time period, because they don't want us to know the truth. They always invert the truth. So
interesting.
That's something to think about in research. And in the Confederates, what the Confederates were doing, that basically the North, Lincoln, and the bankers were coming back in through the North, through Canada, and they were coming back in with their same banker taxation policies, meaning that you were going to be taxed again. And the Confederates, the Confederates were Christians, and they know that usury and debt and things like that are actually sin. And so they wanted to maintain the constitutional republic that had been founded. And so, obviously now they're demonized as slavers and as evil people, when in fact they were the Christians. They were the ones that wanted to hold off the banks. And those veterans, those Confederate veterans are demonized now, where they really are some of the greatest men in history that fought for what is right, fought for Christendom here in America. And you see how they're treated now. You see how the South is treated.
I know.
And
by people who are evil. Yep.
By baby killers and by these same bankers that got in control, Hake. They got in control and they demonize all the good men of history, and then they promote these things that we know. I mean, obviously you guys know, I know, that are evil now, right? They gave women rights, destroyed the family, destroyed our nation. And so it's one of those things where everything is so inverted. When you go to your school and you learn these things, and they say the South was bad, they were slavers. Well, there were free black men in the South, and they were actually free, Hake. They didn't pay taxation.
Yeah.
They didn't have their land and labor tax. And so, that now you talk to a black guy and you're like, hey, how much do you pay in taxes? Like, well, 30% comes right out of my paycheck, right off the top.
Yep.
And so, we're really not free. It's just a more sophisticated form of it. It's all done with banking and with our government taking those loans and taxing us to pay that back. So that's really the dynamic that we're dealing with here.
It's a comfortable slavery, keeping people comfortable and spoiled.
Absolutely. But then again, Hake, a lot of black slaves, a chattel slavery, that, stuff that we don't, that's not good. However, slaves were a valuable thing, and they were put into housing, and they were fed, and they were clothed, and they were treated in a way that isn't necessarily this just massive evil thing that people think it is.
I know.
In fact, a lot of blacks, when they went to the North, Hake, they escaped to the North, they found themselves around real racist people in the North that didn't like them, where they like, wow, these guys in the South, they actually liked us. They
Right.
actually were, in a way, kind of with us as family. And, you know, we have a plantation. It has to be worked, and that has to provide for everybody. So it wasn't as if, like, just this evil thing, like they were beating the blacks all the time. It was, you know, we're taught that, right? In our movies and everything, we're taught that's what it was like. So, yeah.
There were very fine people on both sides. And there was good and bad people on both sides. What a mess.
Absolutely, Hake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate
so the
that.
Founders, the founders and Confederates, the veterans that fought for the right thing, are just something we need to look into more and realize that we're taught in school a version of things that controls our consciousness.
Yeah.
And then
It's a
moving
caricature.
forward, we don't know the truth, and so we act upon lies. And you see us destroying our country now, and it's terrible, man.
Yeah, it is. I appreciate it, man. Yes, the disrespected Confederate soldiers deserve to be honored on Memorial Day and for Veterans Day belatedly. So I appreciate you, Robert. Thank you, man.
Absolutely, Hake. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
All right, you as well. Man. Let me get to Mary in San Antonio, Texas. She says, you can't argue with liberals regarding my argument with T. Did I drag that on too long? Mary in San Antonio, Texas. By the way, Mary, thank you for the super chats.
You're welcome. I need to send y'all more because y'all are doing great work.
Appreciate that.
Liberalism is a mental disorder. You cannot argue with mentally ill people. And that man that was just right on. Everything is being distorted to infinity everywhere, especially in education. And this is what's wrong. Yep. When people call and they say, oh, my God, he still has a chance, Trump, and we want to fight for his cause and we're going to get online and they are going to make sure that we are erased. The people who are righteous, who are conservatives, who believe in God, good, evil, bad, Satanism, and that's what is so scary. Like I keep telling you, because that man is right. The distortion was started, I guess, 100 years ago. Yeah. And now it's getting so bad that all the parents and grandparents of these children, they have been indoctrinated and brainwashed.
Yeah.
And so that's our history and country today.
Yeah.
There is no real history anymore.
It's true.
It's just a bunch of pack of lies.
Yeah, they're just making a caricature of history, just completely smearing the South to where I'm seeing people who seem like they're conservatives, seem like they're Trump supporters, claim to be Christians. Like, for a long time on my Twitter profile pic, I had the Confederate flag kind of washed out over my face because it's a beautiful flag and it's being falsely smeared. Kind of like people didn't wear, but they put the French flag over their face after the French people suffered some terror attacks. And they put, I am Charlie Hebdo. Je suis Charlie Hebdo. So I'm like, who's going to take up for the South, which is falsely smeared? The Confederate flag lovers don't have any representation.
I'd love to see the Confederate flag.
Yeah.
That stands good for justice and brave men, real men.
Yeah.
Real fighters.
Those are our...
That isn't accepted anymore. They're evil. They're Satan. Everything bad.
They're our fellow Americans, but people are just shrugging them off as losers and traitors and all that stuff. It's not even true.
So they're trying to erase it.
Yep. Yeah.
I hate what they're doing to this country, but what I'm afraid of is no way when there's trillions, I guess now billions, almost trillions that are fighting. They don't want Trump. They don't want a right. They don't want America to live. They don't want it to go forward.
Yeah.
To be the beacon of the world. They don't want it, and they are working overtime. And I say Satan is working overtime.
Yeah.
And to me, when they have so much power and money from all over the world, you think that Soros and his gangs aren't working overtime right now to stop
they are.
this investigation? Oh, my God.
The little minions.
We have got, and we don't have enough, I guess, we don't have enough strength, enough power, enough patriots to win over this evil. It's hard. It's hard to believe that anything can overcome it. I applaud people who are trying.
Yeah, me too.
Where are we?
Me
Thank
too.
You for your work.
Yeah.
Keep it up. We need all the help we can get.
I appreciate it, Mary.
God bless y'all.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Take
You're
care.
looking good. Great.
Thank
Bye.
you. We have to just keep on fighting for what's right. Like I've told you before, from what I heard that in the Bible, Jeremiah, one of the prophets to Israel, he was calling on them to repent endlessly. And throughout his lifetime, they never did. Maybe one or two did, but they never listened to him. And he just kept on, like the voice calling in the wilderness. They never listen. Doesn't mean you don't stop doing what's right. It says never tire in doing what's right. Isn't that true? So you don't have to be results based. But the results are not in yet. Just FYI. And Trump is a winner. So I have a few pictures from this situation. Haters out of control. And we're supposed to pretend that, oh no, whites are intimidating blacks when there's more like when it's the other way around. Voter intimidation and Trump supporter intimidation. Attack on Trump supporters. I got this from Revolver. It happened just a few days ago on Sunday. A California male, drove into a Trump parade, 2 injured. You may have heard about this. KEYT, it's from an ABC affiliate. And I think it's also a CBS affiliate somehow. A Santa Maria man. I think that's in not exactly NorCal, maybe Central Cal, right around, maybe San Jose area or something like that. Yeah, so around there. Was arrested on Sunday after driving his vehicle into a Trump parade, causing a rollover crash and 2 injuries. Santa Maria police said the Trump rally was traveling westbound, and this is after the election. Trump supporters in Cali, baby. Westbound on Stowell Road around 2:10 p.m. here in California. Central Cal, I want to say. At about the same time, a 20-year-old Santa Maria male was driving eastbound on Stowell when he made a U-turn and caught up with the rally, gesturing, shouting aggressively at participating vehicles. Look, you can see this Jeep, or whatever it is, turned over on its side. That's insane, man. Not just shouting aggressively at participating vehicles, the man even threw bottles and other objects at drivers as he passed. Thank God he was arrested, huh? It's crazy. In liberal California, right? BLM protests in some towns meet a scary backlash, according to the LA Slimes. And they're showing this Hispanic so-called pastor of St. Paul Lutheran Church who's playing victim. Look at this guy. Hispanic pastor. Poor BLM. And that's in Lodi. There's some people from Lodi. I think some Jesse callers. He might have called my show before too. Lodi, from Lodi. Lodi, California. And this guy is part of... He claims, there's racist history. Not too far from where our resident white man, real white, is from. We've been up in that area. This is by Anita Shabria, a writer for LA Slimes. Came out November 10th. And there's just a whole bunch of people complaining, there's conservatives here still. Pastor Nelson Rabel Gonzalez knew that livable, lovable Lodi as locals call it, had a problem when men carrying a noose with baseball bats with American flags attached shouted racial slurs at him in September. I'm sorry, I thought this was America. As he helped lead a so-called peaceful protest in the San Joaquin Valley town. Be quiet. What surprised him was that to some, the problem was him, because he is part of the problem. This is a fake pastor who's promoting the fake idea of racism and false victimhood on behalf of perpetrators and people who are full of hate for whites. Large protests have filled the streets. Well, he says, I feel like I'm in Alabama prior to the civil rights movement, he said, as if he knows what the heck he's talking about. He's an Afro-Caribbean Lutheran minister. Lutherans. What the heck? Who, you guys are supposed to be conservatives. He's been doing these so-called racial justice marches. Racial justice. He likes white people? He's condemning the hatred of white people and the Jim Crow against whites? Kyle Rittenhouse being falsely called a white supremacist and being locked up for defending himself? Ridiculous. LA, you've seen the crazy riots in LA. They burn police vehicles, SUVs, to just bones, basically. I know the cars don't have bones, but they just burn these cop cars. Is it Antifa? What is it? Black Lives Matter idiots. And this guy is one of them. Other towns, NorCal towns, Nevada City, Fortuna, Quincy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing Fortuna correctly. Small numbers of so-called protesters have done these dumb Black Lives Matter things. And in Lodi, everyone has figured out who the new organizers are, right? So there's some school teacher, just dumb liberal school teacher. Kat Ellis is one of them. I have a picture of her acting like she knows what she's talking about. She doesn't have a clue. And she says that she and her husband have faced harassment online and in town for helping to organize so-called racial justice rallies. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's supporting evil, and neither does the LA Slimes. The LA Times, they had a, what is that called? Their editorial board. Look at that. Look at her husband with the sign says, say their names, and a whole bunch of dumb names. Right? Plus more. And you can bet that they're going to be names like George Floyd, perp. Mike Brown, worst perp. Trayvon Martin, another perp. And they just overwhelm you with names that you've never heard of. But just steamroll over it because it's a bunch of lies. It's a whole pack of lies. That guy's a liberal, huh? That guy who sings that song, I think. But they're just on the side of evil. And they're being cast as victims. Progressive causes. A new Lodi is what Rabel Gonzalez started, that fake pastor. They're just trying to take over every little place. So all you guys who think, oh, Texas is never going to fall, don't rest on your laurels. You got to keep fighting for what's right. Ellis supports the LGBTQ plus community, and she was called a pedophile. Well, when you support brainwashing children, which is what's been happening, that's the same thing. That's oppressing the children. QAnon conspiracy theory, favored by some right-wing groups, says that Democrat child abusers are taking over the government, or took over. It also includes rhinos. I mean, I'm not part of that conspiracy theory, but Democrats and rhinos are both supporting LGBTQIA plus stuff. And brainwashing the children. She said, my husband and I would be walking around and people would stop and whisper, oh dear, oh no. And of course, LA Slime says, Lodi is rumored to have been a sundown town. We heard about that from Maze and Blazing Hogs. Sundown towns, well, I think they describe it, where people of color, meaning blacks, were not welcome after dark. And you know why? Take a guess why. Because crimes would be committed by too many of these people. I would imagine. I mean, it's just common sense. Because to this day,
you know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day.
Violent crime, robbery, theft, all kinds of mess and shenanigans. As they say, nothing good happens after 9:30. Go to bed. After MLK Day in 1998, a cross was burned in front of a local high school, and its black principal was targeted with spray-painted insults. Oh, dear. I'm sorry, I thought this was America. People are sick of their mess. They're spreading mess. Some people are overreacting to it and returning evil for evil, but they're acting like they're innocent, and they're trying to change Lodi, which is a traditional Christian community, right? And then they're trying to change it. And this guy who's pretending to be a Christian is supporting pure evil. But there's, some people fighting for what's right. Florida's governor, who, is it me or did that guy gain a little bit of weight? He got kind of fat. DeSantis, yeah, Ron DeSantis. He used to be slim, I think. But he's a Trump supporter, a Republican, and a fighter, I think. And I don't know if he has the strength to keep on winning, but he's trying to do what's right, I think. He's turning into Trump. Maybe. I hope so. I wish the best for him. But he expanded the already controversial stand your ground laws to allow people to shoot looters, according to a report. Nice. We have to allow people to defend themselves and their property. Are you kidding me? People have been looting with no fear. Just shamelessly looting around the country. It allows force, specifically. This is from New York Post, by the way, which is a hit or miss outlet, right? It allows force against those looting, defining burglary within 500 feet of violent or disorderly assembly. Yep, that counts as looting to me. Oh gosh, I'm seeing some of my callers. One of them has a ridiculous thing to say. DeSantis also wants to make it a third-degree felony to block traffic during a protest. Yes. Did you know that it's already against the law to block traffic? But how many of these people get arrested or charged? They need to be charged because not only are they blocking traffic, these Black Lives Matter rioters are thank you, Nick. They're threatening the people who try to even drive through, just slowly, forcefully drive through. They attack the cars. They try to break the windows. So right on to Ron DeSantis. Stay healthy, man. Stay strong. Keep your head up. And they're just the fake media is antagonistic toward that man. Governor Ron DeSantis. Remember when he hadn't won yet? He's like, let's not monkey this up. Meaning don't mess with the election. It was funny, it was true. And he was running against that guy who it came out he was out of control in his personal life. Let's just put it at that. That guy, Andrew Gillum, black guy. Pretended to be an Obama type. Oh, family man. Well, I mean, I guess he was an Obama type, right? Just still in his wild days. Because Obama was a druggie. And maybe worse. DeSantis has long threatened to introduce the strongest pro-law enforcement, anti-rioting, anti-looting legislation anywhere in the country, even though the Sunshine State has not been a hub of violent protests. And thank God. We're opening the treasure chest, guys. And people complain, it allows vigilantes to justify their actions, says some female, former Miami-Dade County prosecutor, Denise Georges. There's a whole lot of sleazy people in Florida, too. We got to take back what's right. So, thank you to Ron DeSantis. Let's follow in their footsteps and bring back some sanity in the rest of the country. Wouldn't that be nice? Dark Side of the Bear What gave a diamond and said, probably the only law you could call common sense. I think she's referring to this one. But maybe not. I don't remember. Mo Better Stand Up gave a diamond and said, spot on, Hake. And he also says, I thank God every day that my black A with his double Z was born in, hold on. I lost it. D Live can't handle all this pressure. Well, he thanks God that he was born in America, I think. Man, I saw, let me see if Dark Side of the Bear What sent me the diamonds. Too much going on this poor computer. Let me get to Tony in California. He wants to shout out an evil terrorist. I think it's a terrorist. Tony!
Hello there, Hank.
Hey, Tony, how are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, sir. I just want to give a good shout out to your people, your listeners, and your viewers.
Thank you.
Today is Nat Turner's birthday, and I want to recognize Nat Turner for the great job he did.
He didn't do a great job.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He made history. He made history, my friend.
For being evil.
Well, no.
Yeah. No, he was evil.
He was fighting against evil. That's what he was doing, fight against evil.
Then how come he's celebrated by all the evil people here right today?
I mean, we're not evil. We just we recognize.
No, you guys. I don't know about you, but these people are evil. I know that you love lies, and all the.
How's that a lie? That's in the history books, my friend.
No, you love lies. You love lies.
How's that a lie? That's in the history book.
You think Kyle Rittenhouse was a criminal?
Oh,
please.
Kyle Rittenhouse, but to get slammed, my friend. The guy he was with gave him that AR-15.
Yeah, and he got charged.
And shot and killed 2 people. So the guy that gave him the gun,
in self-defense,
he got charged too with accessory to murder.
In self-defense.
No, accessory to murder. His friend got accessory to murder for giving him that gun.
That just shows you that injustice is ruling, and you're pretending to celebrate. You're pretending to celebrate. Yeah, and minors have the right to defend themselves.
No, man, come on, man. You already broke the law when you carried a gun across state line.
Not true.
That's one law.
You just admitted that his friend gave him the gun, who lives in Kenosha, he lives in Kenosha.
And he used it. So both of them would be
right.
In the
They didn't cross. He didn't cross state lines with a gun, Tony. So you can take your Nat Turner.
2 people.
And
killed 2 people.
You can take your Nat Turner and go back to school because you failed.
Excuse me?
You can take your Nat Turner and go back to school because you failed. You need homeschool.
Okay.
You need to go to homeschool, Tony. You were lied to, and now you love lies.
They didn't teach you about Nat Turner in your school.
And you hate white people.
That's one thing for sure. They damn sure didn't teach you nothing about Nat Turner in your school.
No, Nat Turner was a criminal.
Nat Turner was a preacher.
A phony, a fake preacher.
He was teaching Christianity by his master. His master gave him every Sunday to teach Christianity.
They didn't do a good job.
And he showed his master some real Christianity.
Fake. Forget you.
About 1,500 masters, their women and their children got taught Christianity by Nat Turner.
You're pretty sick, Tony.
Well, I just want to recognize that. And
Happy Veterans Day, Tony.
to all the
How
veterans
about Happy
that fought-
Real Veterans
fought
Day?
and died for this country that never got nothing in return from it.
Huh?
I want to say happy Veterans Day to all the veterans that fought and died for this country and never got nothing in return for it.
Whatever. You don't know what you're talking
So
about.
you have a wonderful day, my friend.
right.
I'll let you go.
Thank you.
And y'all celebrate Nat Turner. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Fan of the Ladies says, oh, yeah, I already got that one. I just got to make sure that I got all these. Hake, oh, no. Sleepy Dragon is asking if Dems will ever admit defeat. Oh, man. My GI Bill. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you can go to college and get brainwashed by people who hate America. Noah's Ark, Kansas with a diamond. Thank you, man. Let me just scroll all the way down. Man. Let me just scroll all the way up. Because I lost my stuff. Oh, Robot Moose gave a diamond. Said low T. Man, hold on. I just got to find it. Ghost Murdoch, thank you. You know what? I got to end. I'll find the ones that I didn't. Oh, African Americans. Mo Better Stand Up says Africans only have free losing Super Bowl shirts. Thank you, Mo Better Stand Up. Interesting. Last caller is right. Winners write the history books. I got to make sure I read these. I thank God every day my black blank was born in the USA. Finally, I was able to finish it. Kevin in Chicago and the rest of you callers, I'm way over. But we have the Bond Sunday Service 2010 premiere today, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Bond Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel. And thehakereport.com for my stuff. JesseLeePeterson.com for Jesse's stuff. I'll have to talk about these messy ladies tomorrow, I guess. They're just awful. Silly, ridiculous. But enjoy, for the rest of this stream, the beautiful... Oh, I got to open the treasure chest. I'm opening the treasure chest. Enjoy this song from Sergio. Nice.
The tables are empty, the dance floor's deserted. You play the same love song. It's the 10th time you've heard it. As the beginning, just one of the clues. You had your first lesson in learning the blues. The cigarettes you light, one after another, won't help you forget her, and the way that you love her. You're only burning a torch you can lose, but you're on the right track, yes, for learning the blues. When you're at home alone, the blues will haunt you constantly. When you're out in the crowd, the blues will haunt your memory. The nights you don't sleep, the whole night you're crying, but you can't forget her. Soon you even stop trying.